The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Now, that's an easy statement to make when it's projected outward, when you're looking at the world from your own lens. But it's more difficult and it's a hard lesson to learn when you realize that you're that tree. Now, my name is Taharka Sankara. I'm a licensed clinical social worker. I'm a licensed clinical alcohol and drug counselor, and I'm certified in trauma-focused cognitive behavior therapy. Now, before you go looking for a therapist, I would like you to ask yourself 3 critical questions that oftentimes doesn't get asked, because the parent usually comes to me and they present their situation as the child as the problem, is the child issue. I have nothing to do with that. But I encourage you to ask yourself at least 3 questions that will help you begin to understand the impact and the influence that you have in that particular child. So the first question I would say that you would want to ask yourself is, what have I done myself to correct this issue? How am I handling it? How am I managing it? What is my discipline style like? Like, what have I done to try and correct the issue? What's within my scope of control? Because there's always controllables and uncontrollables. And a lot of times I find that parents can focus on dealing with the uncontrollable things rather than the controllable things. So one thing that I often tell parents is that you have the capacity to control your environment. The control is set up. You control that dynamic. You are the authority in that particular environment. So what are you doing to correct that particular issue? Secondly, what is my role in the behavior that I see in my child? The child is often the reflection of the adults in their lives. So what is my role and my accountability that I see in my child? Am I modeling the right types of behavior that I really want to see? Am I speaking to my child in a way that I want to see them speak? Am I flaming off foul language and profanity? Am I being disrespectful? Am I being inconsiderate? Because the child is just going to reflect that. So you want to ask yourself, what is my role? Like, what am I playing? How am I taking advantage of this opportunity as the parent, as the authority, as the guardian in this particular child's life? And then the last question I would challenge you to ask yourself is, what can I improve? What can I change about myself that would eventually help me and my child? And I say that because we often don't realize that the more we work on ourselves, the more we transform ourselves, the better opportunity that we have to transform and improve our child. So we really want to be looking at, what can I do? What can I change in my parenting role, my parenting approach, my parenting strategy that's going to help my child? And it could be simple things that most parents never ever consider when thinking about their child condition or their child problem behavior that they're having difficulty dealing with. So some of the things that you can control, you can control diet, right? So I created a workbook. It's called 6 Critical Strategies. And in this workbook, it allows you to look at 6 critical areas that can assist you in helping your child, helping yourself get better outcomes. And the first area is like diet, food intake. You control the food in your house. What type of food are you eating? And usually a lot of the food that we eat contributes to how we feel about ourselves. Food fuels mood. Right? So how we feel about ourselves depends a lot on, like, what is our intake? What are we consuming? So you want to be able to look at, okay, what adjustments can I make in my family diet, my family food plan, so that I can help my child as well? What is the stress levels like in my particular environment? Am I contributing to reducing the stress in my environment, or am I increasing the stress in my environment? And again, this all depends on how you approaching your parenting style, how you're dealing with your children. Are you find yourself yelling? And do you find yourself being overbearing? what are some of the things that you may be doing or not doing that's creating stress levels in your household? What type of limits are you setting? What type of boundaries do you have? Sometimes I notice that when the child is younger, like there may be some things that they do that are cute, right? They may speak in a certain way because they can't properly pronounce their words, so they may curse, right? They may say something real slick and it sounds cute and you laugh at it. That's so cute, and you really don't take consideration that you're enabling that behavior to grow. You're nurturing that behavior to develop those type of things to continue going forward. And then it gets to a point where you're like, oh snap, like you don't talk to me like that. I'm your parent. Well, wait a minute. You just encouraged and promoted and enabled that behavior to grow and develop. And so you want to look at what type of limits, what type of boundaries you're setting, and to be consistent with them. Be firm and stern with the boundaries that you set, because you do control that in your particular environment. And lastly, I would say you want to also consider your time in. How much time are you spending with your child? Are you allowing your child to spend excessive amount of time on a video game, on a phone, on a computer, because it makes your life less stressful? It gives you an opportunity to run and do your thing and be out of their way and they out of your way. But you don't know what they're actually learning, what they're picking up until it's too late. So what type of time are you spending with your child, and the quality of that time? Because that will often depend on what type of issues, what type of challenges you face with a parent and your parent-child relationship. So if you're interested in learning more, or you're interested in furthering this discussion with other adults, other parents that may find themselves with certain challenges as well, I advise you to join us in the Next Gen Parenting Group, where you will have an opportunity to grow, to develop, to learn, and improve some things about yourself as a parent and adult, and make your parenting journey a lot more smoother. Now, the Next Gen Parenting Group is a virtual village, because it does take a village to raise a child. And we want to help you and we want to support you with this great opportunity. So join us in the Next Gen Parenting Group, and I look forward to speaking with you soon.